All right, so let's talk about what just happened in the silver market. And I don't mean a rally, I mean a full-on detonation. Silver just went vertical, and we're gonna break down exactly what lit the fuse on this incredible price explosion.
You see, the story here isn't that silver just went up a little bit. No, it detonated, blasting straight through the $60 an ounce mark in a move that felt like it came out of nowhere. And it left pretty much everyone asking one simple question.
And that's exactly what we're gonna answer. We're gonna walk you through the clear, honest breakdown of all the factors that cause silver to move like a freight train. No hype, just the data and the analysis.
Okay, so where does this story even begin? Well, it doesn't start with a big bang. It actually starts much quieter, with a slow-burning issue that's been building for years, a global tightening of supply. This is what set the stage for everything that followed. You know, for years, people who follow this stuff saw the writing on the wall. You had major mines in countries like Mexico and Peru slowing down their operations. At the same time, finding new, easy-to-mine silver deposits got way harder. Even government mints were having trouble getting their hands on enough metal. So when your demand is steady but your supply is shrinking, something's got to give. This was the powder keg just waiting for a spark.
So the supply side was getting squeezed tight, but then, at the exact same time, this massive, relentless new wave of demand just crashed onto the scene. People always talked about how industrial demand would eventually be a big deal for silver. Well, eventually is here.
And this is where it gets really fascinating, because this completely reframes what silver is even for. We're not just talking jewelry or coins anymore. Silver is the most conductive metal on the planet, which means it is absolutely essential for our modern world. I mean, just think about it. Solar panels, electric vehicles, AI data centers, all these booming industries are consuming silver at a record pace. The solar industry alone is using it up faster than we can even pull it out of the ground.
Okay, so you have a supply crunch on one side and record-breaking demand on the other. So what was the third crucial factor? It was a tsunami of money from professional traders and huge investors who spotted a historic opportunity brewing. For the better part of a decade, gold was on an absolute tear, hitting new highs, while silver just kind of sat there. Historically, that huge gap between the two doesn't last. Sooner or later, silver plays a very violent game of catch-up, and the big money, the hedge funds and pro-investors, they saw this massive disparity and they piled in, betting on that exact snapback happening.
So this wasn't just numbers on a chart, you know? The pressure was being felt in the real world. Bullion dealers started to run dry, and when the pros can't get their hands on the actual physical metal, the market has no choice but to reprice it upwards and fast. That scarcity caught the attention of a whole new group of buyers. And right on the heels of that institutional money came the retail flood. I mean, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, all pushing this one really powerful narrative that silver is the last undervalued hard asset left on the table. And when you have both Wall Street and Main Street rushing for the same tiny exit, the price doesn't just rise, it explodes.
Once the price broke through that key psychological level of $30 an ounce, the momentum just started building on itself. Then it tore right through $35. And at that point, the fear of missing out, FOMO, really started to take hold. And finally, when it shattered its old all-time high ceiling near $50, that's when the game completely changed. The humans kind of stepped aside and the algorithms took over. This whole phenomenon is what traders call a theta squeeze. It's basically a feedback loop. The price goes up, which triggers momentum-chasing algorithms to buy, which pushes the price up even higher, which triggers more buying. The price is literally accelerating just because the price is accelerating. And that is how you get a chart that goes straight up. So with all these incredible factors hitting all at once, we're left with a central question everyone is asking now. Was this just a temporary mania, or is this a permanent repricing of the metal? Where do we go from here? To even begin to answer that, you have to realize this wasn't just one single event. It was a perfect storm. It was years of shrinking supply, meeting a historic surge in industrial and investment demand, all happening at the exact same moment. Each factor just amplified all the others, and that's what created the explosion we just saw. And this brings us to the core takeaway from all the analysis. Given the fundamental supply and demand imbalance that's been building for years, the argument isn't that this explosive run was irrational. The argument is that it was simply overdue. The market was just correcting a massive, long-term imbalance and doing it all at once. Which leaves us with this final critical question to think about. Have we just witnessed silver finally finding its true price in a tech-driven world? Or was this explosive move just the opening act for a whole new era of volatility? That's what the market is going to have to decide.